For those of you I haven't met, my name is Siwan, and I'm part of the Rivers of Carbon team who are bringing this afternoon to you. We're really thrilled to be here. The Goulburn community asked Rivers of Carbon to come and work, and then Breadalbin said they wanted us as well, and the Lachlan have said they want us to come and work there too, so we're very, very pleased to be here, and as I said, really thrilled to see such a packed room. So I'm going to open this afternoon just with a little bit of background about what we do at Rivers of Carbon. And you can see our team sort of huddled in the doorway wearing their new white shirts so that you can easily identify them. So there's Laurie, Mary, Hayden, and then John, always the odd one out there, in the blue. But he does look very nice in the blue. So please come and say hi to us at the end of tonight. So this is my gratitude slide. I have absolutely no problem putting all the wonderful people up who actually support our work. For me, government is incredibly important, and I'm proud to work on behalf of many different governments out on the land with all of you. So as I say, my gratitude slide, but it's also up there because of all the land care groups that we work with, as well as Greening Australia, who's our delivery partner. This is another gratitude slide, and where's Mary? You put your hand up, Mary. She's, Jane. Jane and Mary and Laurie and Hayden, they're all there. So this is a group of landholders in Yass, one of our Rivers of Carbon projects that's just completed. And we were having a thank you morning tea because we had got to the end of the project, it had gone really well, and we felt it was really important to say thank you for being involved. Come and have a cup of coffee with us. And this is what makes our job so fantastic, because we get to work with great people. So this is another gratitude slide. And this is a river of carbon. So you may have gone on the website to have a look at what is a river of carbon. Really, carbon is all around us, as I'm sure you all know. But a river of carbon that is rich and healthy is one that is complex. It's got a lot of biodiversity. There's a lot of wood and trees and shrubs. And we've even got a few humans in the middle there fishing, because there's fish in that river because of the wood. So that is a river of carbon. It's actually the Yass River. Why rivers of carbon? This is really important for our team. So we feel that we have a really strong social and ethic responsibility to our future generations in terms of leaving them the sort of carbon footprint that is currently around us. So this is really our why. We've got a whole lot of science to back up what we do, but ultimately it's about wanting to make a difference and to empower people to respond to the issues and the challenges that we have around us today. We actually think that in a lot of the climate change discussions that we have around, people are feeling quite despairing, and it's often because we're getting bombarded with lots of facts and figures, and so we feel quite despairing of it all. But in actual fact, there's a hell of a lot we can do as individuals, and that's really what Rivers of Carbon is all about. It's about saying, yes, we can still do stuff on our place that is going to help us adapt to climate change, it's going to provide refuge for plants and animals, and it's going to make us feel good at the same time. And that's really important. Those feelings are actually what motivates us to do what we do. We can't just wait for someone else to do it. In terms of the science, it's really strong. In my former career, I worked at an organisation called Land and Water Australia, and Ian, who's going to be talking later, was also working there with me. We did a large program of science, really looking at how rivers and riparian zones in Australia function. Prior to that program, we'd brought a lot of information in from North America and Europe, and those rivers actually work differently to our rivers. So we'd invested in a lot of science, and my job was really to take that science and make it meaningful and relevant for people. This is recent work, relatively recent, by Corey Bradshaw, who was looking at what we can do to actually undertake activities in our landscape, mainly looking at climate change and climate change refuge. And you can see here that native veg linking to existing patches of remnant vegetation, forming those living wildlife corridors, is really a fantastic thing to do. And our rivers are great places to do that. We can easily identify them. They're less overwhelming, if you like, as your whole landscape or your whole farm, because you can focus on that small part of your farm. And you often know that that's where you're actually going to get the best bang for not only your buck, but also for biodiversity. We also have a focus on threatened species. I'm sure some of you will be able to recognise some of these guys. We've got the tiny little southern pygmy perch over on the side there, through to the Macquarie perch, the southern bellfrog and the superb parrot. So Rivers of Carbon does try to actually put in vegetation that's going to look after and attract these animals and support them. So the final part of Why Rivers of Carbon, and this one's quite a new one, and it was one of the ideas behind having this afternoon's get-together. Professor Ellen Wall spoke at the Stream Management Conference a few months ago, and she was talking about how our natural river systems are complex and they're messy. They retain water, nutrients and carbon. A lot of our modern river systems, or modified river systems, are neat and tidy because that's what we believe actually shows us to be managing our land. They're neat and tidy, they're easy to get around. But in actual fact, those modified river systems store less than 2% of the carbon they used to. So messy is actually good. Messy within the context of an overall farm though, so that you manage the riparian zone as a different but an integrated part of the overall farm system. So we fully appreciate that there are always compromises to be made in order that you can integrate that riparian management into the overall farm. So this is a pretty typical river that we might see around here. This again is around Canberra, where I'm from. And we would describe that river as carbon poor. Not a lot of vegetation, open, not much shade over the stream, cattle down to the water, quite a lot of eroding banks. This, on the other hand, is a carbon-rich river. It's on the Yass River, and it's an area where we've been doing some work. So the stock no longer have access. We're letting the shrubs, we're letting the grasses and the reeds grow down to the bank. You can see the water is clearer and there's shade over the stream. So we're starting to use this term of carbon poor and carbon rich so that we can take back some of the language of climate change, so we can own it for ourselves and make it understandable in our day-to-day work. So what does Rivers of Carbon actually do? We do three things. We manage rivers, and a lot of the people in the doorway there are the ones that will come out on your property and talk to you about what you're doing on your place. We value people, and it was wonderful having those great stories from Alfie to start with. And we share knowledge. So a lot of what we do is actually communicating and sharing rather than hanging on to the information that we have. And that's really what this afternoon's all about. It's about sharing knowledge. So we have 5 projects in our Rivers of Carbon suite, if you like. Southern Riparian Linkages is working in the Murrumbidgee and the Yass areas. Yass River Linkages, which I just mentioned, has just recently finished. We work up on the Upper Murrumbidgee between Breadbow and Collinton Gorges. We have the Goulburn District River Linkages, which is where we're at today, and also Breadalbin. We've also got 2 more grants in, one for the Borough region and another follow-up one for Yass. So world domination is really on the scene. I'm just letting you know now. You've got in early. So this is just showing the district that we're in around here. So this pink blob in the middle is Rock Goulburn. This little yellow blob here is Rock Breadalbin. And this little blue line along here is Rock Yass. So we're gradually working with other groups to mainly try and get a lot of those blobs overlapping so that landholders have a number of different people that they can go to actually get assistance. I'm happy to share this. It's on the the River of Carbon website as well. So this is the team. Lovely bunch, don't you agree? They look lovely in their white shirts there. Now what motivates us, we're all from different disciplinary backgrounds, but we actually have the same fundamental belief. And it's really encapsulated in this great quote by David Bowling. Choosing to save a river is more often an act of passion than of careful calculation. You make the choice because the river has touched your life in an intimate and irreversible way, and because you're unwilling to accept its loss. So that's why we do what we do. That's why we're here today and in the room, and really looking forward to talking to you. So we are here to mess it up and slow it down. And we've got some great speakers to do that and to talk about why that's a good thing to do. Alfie, we've just heard from. We've got Matt coming up next, followed by Ian, who's actually also operating the technology, so very clever man. And then Margie is going to share the story of what she's done on her place. So, Matt, I might go over to you.